Hello there, this is Kush from Creative Pad Media. In this video, we will be looking at how Descript AI can help us edit this particular video. Okay, so this is a completely unedited video where I'm just kind of making some coffee here, and there are going to be some parts where I'm moving around the tripod every time the scene changes like this, because this gets hot very fast. And there are going to be a lot of mistakes here, so we hope, we're going to be seeing once we upload this to Descript, how good is it at quickly editing out these mistakes. By the way, I've got an entire course on AI video editing. If you are interested in learning about the different tools and software that can help you edit your videos with a single click, just like Descript, do check out the course. The link will be given in the description. But for now, let's head into Descript. All right, welcome back to another AI video software. This time, this is an editing software which is very, very popular, which is called Descript. Out of all the AI software we've seen till now, this one has made the most commotion in the AI world. But then you must be thinking, Kush, if this is so popular, why are you putting this slightly down the list? Why wasn't this the first software that you showed to us, right? So before we get started, I want to answer that. It definitely is a great software. As you're going to find out, it is a full-fledged editing software capable of replacing something like Adobe Premiere Pro. All right, so this is the strongest of them all till now. The only reason I didn't show this in the beginning is because this does involve manual work. So you will be using some very powerful AI features, as you're going to be seeing in this edit, but you have to do it yourself. Okay, so think of it like this. This is kind of a combination of manual plus AI work, very strong AI work. This in an overall way, it's what we call as a script-based editor. That means you're going to get a script, and through that script, you can edit your videos, something similar to what we saw with ViceCut in the first video. But the reason I put ViceCut before Descript is because we saw in ViceCut that you simply upload the video, then you don't do anything, and you just simply get the final result. My emphasis on this course is also on speed. Okay, that's why I have put Descript slightly down the hierarchy. Okay, otherwise it's a very powerful software like you're going to be seeing right now. It also has a very, very liberal free plan. You can even export your video without a watermark. Okay, so just like with anything, you're going to hit sign up. It's going to show you that page where you can use your different types of accounts to create. For me, I've already created my account through Google, just like we've done so many other times. So it's directly putting me onto the dashboard. Now, when it comes to Descript, okay, when you do this for the first time, like when you create your account, you're actually going to get an installation that starts on its own. So you can either use this on the web, or once that installation finishes, when you sign up for the first time, you also then will get the app, the Descript app on your operating system. And I prefer to use the app because I just find it to be much better. So for example, I've already installed that. It's a fairly simple installation process because once you create your account for the first time, you'll see a download starts automatically. Just click on that download setup icon, and just like you install any other software, you will be able to install Descript. Okay, so I've already done it. So if I just type in Descript, you can see you've got that app here, and I prefer to use this rather than the web-based editor. Otherwise, from a functionality point of view, they're going to pretty much work the same way. But this is how the app looks like. So you can see it's got a pretty similar look to what we saw just shortly on the web app also. And here what you're going to do is, once this opens up, we're going to hit a new project here. We're going to select video project, and then we can just give it a name. So we're going to again be editing our coffee video, okay, this time. And we're going to hit add file, and we're going to select that particular video. Right, so you're going to select that 10-minute long unedited video. Okay, so this is going to be from scratch. And then what it's going to do is it's just going to analyze the entire video. It's going to show you the name here, how many speakers. Yes, it has detected it has just one speaker. If you want, we can even type a name for this. You'll understand why this can be important slightly later on. Okay, and the language, English is fine. So we're going to hit done. And then basically it's going to transcribe this entire video, and you're going to get the entire script, and we will be able to use that to edit this video. So let's wait for this. All right, so that didn't take long, just a couple of minutes, and it just produces this entire transcript of whatever I was talking about in the video. And throughout this transcript, you'll see like these couple of dots here. This is representing those parts where I was kind of changing the angle, not talking, and these will be deleted. So traditionally, how video editing software like, for example, Premiere Pro work is we do the editing via a timeline. Okay, so for instance, here also we have a timeline. If I was to just hit this button on the left bottom, it says show timeline. I do get the entire timeline with the transcript words also. Okay, so I can actually just go anywhere on this. So that's one way. And we can, like, for instance, we can take a blade and start cutting things which we don't need. This is the traditional way of doing things, which can also be done in Descript, but that's not what it's meant for. It's meant for script-based editing because this is usually much quicker, okay? Provided the software does a good job in transcribing. And that's where Descript is one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to script-based editing. So I'm just going to hide the timeline for right now. But you can see if I place this anywhere, if I just hit any word or click on any word, it shows you the corresponding change in the scene. Lesson on how to brew coffee using the very popular mocha pot. Right, you can see if I go here, it's got nothing to do with coffee. You have to preheat. Right, so that is corresponding to the video. So what now we can do is, it's already removed that initial part, okay? Just that small pause that was there when I started off. And the other things that are still there are going to be represented by these long pauses here, okay? So if I just go here, now if I just play the video, like, we don't need this. So what I can do now is I can just take this part and simply hit the backspace key, or I can hit delete, and that is gone from the scene. So now if I run this from here, so let's just do this. It's going to jump to the next scene, and you're going to get this little icon. Can you see? This is showing us that, yeah, you've cut something here, okay? So now just see. So let's just do this step. As you can see, the water is heated. So you can see, right? So now it has just removed that entire pause that was there. So let's just see this part. So I'm just going to quickly finish this process. So again, this is not needed because not every pause is going to be bad. Maybe there can be pauses where, so I don't even want this word which is right, and I can just push this down. So not every pause is going to be bad. You might find a pause which is something where I'm showing something important. So let's see this one, because this doesn't seem too long. So play it from here. So we just need to use a cloth like this, and then you can just close this. Yeah, now this is kind of debatable. Do you want to remove this? I would not like to remove this because I'm doing something which is important. So that's fine. So I can leave this one. Let's just see this one. So that is done. And finally, the last step, which is we just put this on the induction. Yeah, so this is where I'm changing the angles of the camera. So I can quickly select all this and delete. It's just like editing a Word document. That's what you're doing, but it's just making the corresponding changes to the video, okay? So again, there's a pause here, but it's a very short pause, so I'm guessing I'm showing something important, okay? Because that's where I'm pressing the buttons and changing the power of the induction. So I think I'll leave at that, but you can see this one again is pretty long, so let's just go through this once. All right, so we'll wait for the moment till the time I hear that sound. Okay, so this part, this, now let's play this again. Moment till the time I hear that sound. So now you can see that we're hearing that sound, the very pause. You can see that that has done a pretty good job, okay? Also, sometimes it just kind of doesn't give enough of a pause, okay? So we'll also see what to do about that in a very short time. I'm just gonna put this on a separate paragraph, though that's not 100% compulsory, but we'll correct that later on. I'm just going through the basic edits right now. I think, see this one sound, and you're just going to probably get your coffee. So we'll remove this, not needed. And again, don't think we need this. Probably get your coffee. All right, so the coffee here is pretty much, that's good. I'm talking, so that is pretty good. Now, also, just like we learned with Wise Cut, okay, This same transcript is going to be used if later on you go for subtitles or your captions. So make sure if there's any spelling error, you kind of just proofread this entire transcript, because it's going to exactly use this to form those captions. So again, we're facing that deviating from the average problem, because it probably doesn't recognize that this is called as mocha pot. Usually happens on tougher or more unfamiliar nouns. So we can actually just go here and type in write. Okay. So I'm just going to undo things. So if I, just like you do it on your Word document, you can hit Control or Command Z. Okay. So I'm just going to hit done writing and just undo this till the time I get it here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this and hit correct. And I'm just going to type in mocha. So later on, if I do go for captions, this is going to basically give the correct spelling there. Okay. So I'll just do it for once. Of course, I'll have to, if I was doing this properly, I should go through the entire transcript and just proofread this. So now you can see we've gone from a video that was again 10 minutes long to around 5 minutes 40 seconds. And this is exactly what Wisecut also gave us. It's a very similar length. I think that was 5 minutes 38 seconds or 33 seconds, something like that. So you can see that pretty much we're getting the same results when we take out anything that is not needed. But a lot of stuff left to do, because we've just done the basic parts here. So let's continue to edit this video. All right. So now that we have a basic edit done, and that was pretty quick, just editing like a Word document, it's time to now fine tune things a bit, because sometimes in Descript, the parts where you cut, okay, just like how we remove the pauses, when it does stitch the other two parts together, it can just sometimes cause a bit of overlap between the last word and the first word, wherever you cut. Okay, so let's try to see this to understand things. I'm just looking out for that icon somewhere. So something like this, like we know that, yeah, this is some area where we had made a cut. So we're just going to go through this and keep an ear out on what happens when coffee is being said and then this. Are they overlapping? So let's just play this once. Gargling sound, and you're just going to probably get your coffee. All right, so the coffee, in this case, it was absolutely fine. No issues at all. I'm just looking at one more. That's the end. Didn't have that many cuts. Maybe this one. Let's just see this. Because after this, you can notice. All right, so we'll wait for the moment till the time I hear that sound. So now you can see. Yeah, so something like this, right? So let's just play this again. Wait for the moment till the time I hear that sound. So now you can see. So we would ideally like to get some gap before the word so starts, right? So what you can do is very easy to do that. And that's where this, if this timeline is hidden, you can just expand it, because that's where this timeline can really help you. Because now that I've clicked here, it's going to take me to this area where exactly this is being played. So, all right, so we'll wait for the moment till the time I hear that sound. So you can see here, right? Sound and so. And here, what I can now do is I can increase this gap from the timeline. So the moment you hover over so, you're going to get this cursor-like thing with that horizontal thing with the arrows. That means now I can drag this. So I would just like to drag it this side, and I'm kind of increasing the gap between the two. Just to like really show you, even showing you how long this gap is going to be. So let's say we want a proper 1 second gap. Okay, between these two. It might be too long, maybe this much. So let's just play this again. Be careful, do not touch anything, because this gets hot very fast. All right, so we'll wait for the moment till the time I hear that sound. So now you can see that we're hearing. So that now you can see that this time it was able to give a pretty decent gap. I think it became a bit big, so maybe we can just go here to this gap and maybe just close it down. Okay, a bit. So this will be fine. Now this will be much better. Also, sometimes you might find that it doesn't say the whole word itself, right? Like sometimes it just cuts the ending of the word. That is definitely a downside of Descript, but that can actually very easily be corrected using AI, because you can actually train your own voice in Descript and replace the words, and it's just going to replace the entire word with your voice. Like even if you hadn't said something in the original video, it'll actually, if you just change it here, it'll actually manufacture that entire word again, or even like a whole statement again from your own voice. We're going to be seeing that towards the end, okay? So we'll come back to that. Just done some basic edits with the help of the words and the timeline. Another thing that you can do when you're editing is that you can divide your transcript into different scenes. Right now, if you look at this left tab, we just have this one scene, which is the entire video. And a scene is represented by this forward slash. So if I was to put a forward slash anywhere else, it'll turn it into a different scene. But the question is, why would you want to do that? Okay. So let's say in this video, let's say this part. Okay. So a couple of things that you're going to be needing here. You're going to, of course, need some coffee, which is ground for the mocha pot. Okay. So let's say when I'm saying this particular statement, maybe these 2-3 lines, what I want is that instead of this being run, I actually want to show some coffee beans or some coffee powder. Okay, that's called a B-roll footage, a footage which comes as an overlay or on top of your original footage. So just like it adds a lot of spice to your video. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of basically turn these few lines where I want that overlay to come or the B-roll footage to come into a new scene so that we can then replace it with another scene which looks much better of those coffee beans. So how I can do that is I can figure out where do I want that B-roll footage to come. Okay, so I can, let's say from here, when I say you're going to, of course, need some coffee. So I can just go here and hit the / key, and then this turns it into the second scene. And now the entire transcript below this is a second scene on which I can easily put a B-roll footage. But remember, we just want it for a few lines, right? So that means we even need to cut it once more so that the third scene then becomes the rest of the transcript, and we'll be able to only work with a few lines because that is going to be a separate scene on its own, which is going to be scene number 2. So what we can do is, where do we want the B-roll footage to end? That's the next question. So let's say maybe up till I say somewhere. Okay, this can be anything, doesn't matter. I can put one more / So now we have this particular scene, which is only from this to this. And even if you just hover over these scenes, and even if you just hover over these scenes, it'll just highlight that part here. So this is scene 1, scene 2, and the rest of it is scene 3. Okay. So here what we want to do is we want to add that new file. So what we can do for that is we can just, with this selected, we can hit this media tab, and then you can actually just search for some stock footage. So I can just type in under the videos tab, let's say I can just type in coffee, just like we've done with some other software also. It's going to show you a lot of different cool footages of maybe coffee beans and all these things. Of course, you can get more descriptive here, but let's say I want something like this. Seems pretty cool. Or maybe this one. So let's just select any one. And it's going to show you this message that it's loading the media. And this basically will replace this entire second scene here of these lines. Okay, so let's just wait for it to load. All right, so it's just loaded that entire clip here. And you can see that we are getting 2, which has been replaced by this footage. So if we were to play this again, let's just start from scene 1 somewhere. Let's say right here. To this lesson on how to brew coffee using the very popular mocha pot. So a couple of things that you're going to need here. You're going to, of course, need some coffee, which is ground for the mocha pot because these are very fine grains. Okay, so you can do it with your machine, or if you're buying it from somewhere, you can tell them that you're going to be using. So that looks much better. Don't worry about the lag here. Like this is just the playback part of it. Once we do export the video, this is going to be very, very smooth and it's going to look really nice. Okay, so that's how you can even add anything that adds context to your video. The next thing that we want to do is we want to add some background music to this entire video. So let's do that. So when we're adding the background music, the first question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want the music on the entire video, or are we just looking to add music on a particular scene? Usually in such cases, or in videos like this, is going to be across the entire video, right? So what we can do on this script is, just like you do it on different documents, just hit Control or Command A. So that is going to select the entire script, okay, or basically all the scenes. And then what you can do is you can again go to media, and this time you can go to audio, and just like that you have a lot of different tracks. So it's kind of suggesting us already that should we choose something related to coffee, or we can just search on our own. So let's say I want to go for something which is soothing. Okay, so it's kind of showing us what are the tracks which correspond to the mood of soothing. Okay, so you can even search like this according to the mood. So let's listen to Autumn. Okay, so just to be quick, we'll just select the first track. Okay, of course, you can go through it later. One thing that I did try out, but it didn't really work very well, was I actually used this tab here which says Actions, and there's something called as Ask AI. There are some other things also, but there's this really cool option which says Ask AI, and you can actually ask it that, you know, add background music. So let's say if you're struggling to select a music on your own, okay? So if I just hit this, so it's going to say, based on the user's instruction to add background music, I recommend using instrumental or sound music. So can you add the music for me? You can literally talk to this AI, okay? So that time it was just giving us the steps, but you can actually do it. The only thing that time was it went to the final step. So you can see like this part doesn't really work very well because it just gives you very random answers sometimes. The first time when I tried this, I actually asked it to add the background music. It took some time and it gave the answer that I've already added the background music according to what I think is good for this video. But then I couldn't hear the music. Like it just didn't come anywhere, because as you're going to see, when we actually add the music, it comes and shows up in the timeline. So this Ask AI part does work for a lot of things, but it doesn't work for some things, because for the music part, it just didn't work. I wanted to see right now if by any chance it works, but it's not kind of accepting this instruction. So probably, this is something more advanced. It'll come into play once Descript gets better. But you can also try this on your own. But for right now, what we'll do is we'll just close this and we'll add it on our own. Though we'll come back to that Ask AI thing, because we are going to ask it to do something which it can do. Okay, so that'll be later. So let's select Auto. So it's again going to show loading media, and the song will be put right. So it is loaded. The song is telling us that it's added a layer. What that means is if I just pull up this timeline, you can see the different layers that it uses. Remember, we had put this B-roll footage, so this is showing us that this is coming on top. We could have also done the same thing using the timeline, okay? But then that means it just becomes like any other editor out there. I want to show you things which are kind of the strengths of Descript, and that's the script-based editing. But it does work like a proper editor. So you can see the different layers here. This is the song that has been added. So now if I play it from anywhere, it's very simple. The first process, it's got nothing to do with coffee. And now this is a really cool feature. Okay, now first of all, there are two issues with this. One is this song is not big enough to cover the entire track, because this was, I think, just 2.5 minutes, whereas our video is 5 minutes. So what we can do here is, if I just select it here, just click on the song so that it gets highlighted, and on the right you're going to see some properties of the songs. And here, what you can do here is, instead of playing it once, if I just open up this drop down menu, I can say that just loop this song till the end. So that means when it finishes, it'll again start. Okay, so that's one cool thing. The other problem we are obviously facing is, since this is a video in which talking is important, right, I wanted to reduce the volume in such a way that it just reduces the volume even further when I'm talking loudly, or when I'm not talking, I give it the liberty to raise the volume a bit. But I don't want to be doing this manually. So this is where you can actually use something called as auto ducking, which is something we even saw in ViceCut. Remember that it changed the volume on its own. So you can do that in Descript also. In order to do that, what you need to do is just once again, just hit Control Command A on the script, so it selects everything. So we are again telling it that whatever we are going to do now has to apply to the entire video. And the moment you select the entire script like this, you're going to see this properties box come here. And now it's going to show you audio effects. So one is, if you had a bad sounding audio, you can also switch on the studio sound, or you can simply just, in this case, we mainly want to concentrate on the ducking part. So if I just enable this, it's just going to basically change the volume in such a way that it matches whatever, and helps us give priority to this voice of the speaker. So let's just listen to this now. Some water, because we're going to heat the water. Of course, you need a mug to pour this coffee on once it's. So I suggest you, if you're not wearing your headphones right now, you do wear your headphones because that music is there, but it's very subtle, and that's how you want it to be. So I'm just going to play it again now. It's done, and yeah, that's about it. So let's quickly get started. The process is very simple. The first process has got nothing to do with coffee. You have to preheat. Right? That is something that is really good, and it just keeps getting better because it's AI, right? Things like this, okay, the ducking part of the audio and all, this becomes pretty much a nightmare in completely manual software like Premiere Pro. So this is like a huge advantage that just but with a single click, you're able to solve this problem. Otherwise, in Premiere Pro, I've often faced this problem where I have to like keep on doing this manually till the time I find that right spot where my narration is good, the audio is good, but here it's just like AI is doing it for you with one click. So it does have some really, really powerful features. Now let's quickly see another very cool AI feature here, which is that let's say right now this is starting straight from here, right? All right, welcome to this lesson on how to group. What if I wanted another scene before this, okay, which is like an intro scene where it just says, it kind of gives us the title of this particular video, but I also want an AI voice to read out that particular title. So can we do that? We definitely can. So let's also do that. So in order to create a new scene before this, we're just going to go here, pull this down, and again, give it a forward slash, not here, this, right here. So now this has become scene 2, which was originally scene 1. And our scene 1 here is completely empty. So what we can do here is we can just type in a title, like for example, how. So anytime you start writing something, you actually just have to hit this write button, and then you'll be able to write. So I'm going to type in how to coffee using a mocha. Now, right now, if I just play this scene, it's not simply just going to read it aloud like this. You just simply have that music running because the music has been applied to the entire video. We actually want words to come in, and also we want a different screen with a nice template which says, these exact words. So how can we do that? So first of all, let's choose a template. Okay, so we're going to select right on the scene here. You can see under the scene on the right, these are the properties of the scene. We can choose a template. So we can go here and let's just select any good looking template here. Okay, so say these are the ones that we get for free. So this is not too bad. Let's just use something simple. Let's just use this one, okay? And under this, keep it simple. We can just say here also, double click on it, how, just not going to use the subtitle. All right, and now finally, we just have to turn these into actual words. So how you do that is, right now you can just see that in the parts where we had originally transcribed, it shows that the speaker here is Kush. But for this scene, we don't have anyone here. So first of all, we have to assign a speaker to this. Okay, so if I hit add speaker, now this is the best part. Okay, if I had trained my own voice, I can actually select Kush. Okay, like this. But right now, it's not gonna work. So like it's gonna show me Kush, but if I play right now, it's not gonna do anything. Okay, that's because we have to first hit this button which says enable speech generation, and then we have to train and authorize a speaker. So we have to go through this entire training where we have to read this out, record this entire file. It's going to train your voice, and then you'll be able to use your own voice even to form new words and new sentences in your own particular voice. But that takes a lot of time. So right now I'm not showing you that, but do remember that this is possible. Okay, right now what we're going to do is we're not going to select Kush. We're going to go for browse stock AI speakers. That means speakers who are already there. So like, just like we've seen with other software. So let's listen to Alan.
Life is like a camera. Just focus on what's important. Capture the good times.
All right, so
develop from
this
the
is
negative.
fine. So I can hit Alan, and right now, if I was to now play this scene, let's do it again.
How to brew coffee.
So just wait for this little rendering process that goes. You'll see that thing circling. And once that is completed, then you'll see that, yes, this becomes active. So now if I play this.
How to brew coffee using a mocha pot.
All right, welcome to this lesson on how to brew coffee using. That is pretty cool, isn't it? So you can use this particular feature. Once you have trained your own voice, you can actually just even change the words, maybe add some sentences here. So you can get away with a lot of things. But oftentimes, make sure that when you do that, okay, if you, like for example, if my face was shown, it's not going to happen that it's actually going to turn my face and just manufacture the lip movement also. That's not going to happen. So if you're planning to add some sentences which are not there in the original video, it's a good idea if your face was shown and you're talking to cover that up with an overlay clip like we did. Okay, if you're adding any extra sentence. Usually this practice is good just to change some bit of words if you said something wrong, or maybe you missed out a particular word which you thought you would like to add. So you can do that after you've trained your own voice. Okay, now quickly, we also want to add captions before we export this video. So we are just going to hit this text icon here and we're going to just select captions. Make sure, of course, that you've proofread the entire thing, because mistakes like this will show up here. So just play this. You need the mockup. So again, we'll just actually select the whole script and we're just going to select captions. Okay, so but otherwise it had only applied it to the first, that's a second scene. But you can see here that this mistake is going to come here. So make sure you correct things like this. All right, so we are pretty much set. Once we are very happy with what we've got here, we can go and hit publish. So it's just going to show you the different options here. Do you want to publish this as a web link? That means you can just share it to the link. On the free plan, we only have 720p. We can't really use anything else. And public is access, or do you want some private access so that, you know, not everyone that you that who can see the link can access the video, but that's perfectly fine. And so just for one export, we can actually remove the watermark here, just for one on the free trial. So we'll take full advantage of that. And then we can hit publish. So you can see that it has published our video. Now I can hit download, or I can directly share this also. So I'm just going to select folder where I can download this to. So we've got this message which says preparing to render. So the downloading process has started. Let's wait for this to finish. We're going to open the download now.
How to brew coffee using a mocha pot.
All right, welcome to this lesson on how to brew coffee using very popular.
How to brew coffee using a mocha pot.
All right, so one mistake that we did make was because we selected the entire script for the captions. It's even for this, ideally the caption should not be there, because the first part
How to brew coffee using a mocha pot
is just showing us, right? So the captions when even the AI speaker is speaking. So I should have started the entire process when I clicked on that caption button from scene 2. Okay, that's a small mistake. Also, it for some reason it is giving us the Descript watermark, but I think that only applies to the template. Let's just see this. No, it is actually showing us the watermark. So probably they've removed that feature. Use some coffee which is ground for the mocha pot, because these are very fine grains. Okay, so you can do it with your machine, or if you're buying it from somewhere, you can tell them that you're going to be using right, so not bad at all. You can even change things like the font of the captions that are being seen and all these things. But overall, I think this does a fairly good job now. Just like with all the other software, let's quickly see whether Descript is worth it or not.